Ladies and gentlemen, we now present to you our third on-air ceremony for a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. And our guest tonight is actually the first of the three ceremonies that's actually been inducted into now two Hall of Fames in one day. And it's more than likely in the history of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, he will certainly be the only person in one day to be inducted into two Hall of Fames. Our guest, though, certainly is more than worthy to be in this Hall of Fame, and in fact, in the prior Hall of Fame that he just got inducted to, into the XCW Hall of Fame at their Viewers' Choice Awards, there was one person's vote that wasn't mentioned that was certainly a real one that definitely was the most that mattered when it came to that vote. But our guest here is certainly more than deserving, as I pointed out, and I look at his career as the operator of the UIW, his long career in the BYWE, but also most importantly, where he has now found a home in XCW, where he is one half of the tag team champions. We think we'll get into that and why, but they have been one of the longest reigning tag team champions in recent memory in XCW, and they very well could be, if it all works into their favor, the longest running XCW tag team champions in history, as they stated here in their real appearance on Sportswire Radio. In addition to that, our guest has made quite a mark here in XCW with wins over the likes of former XCW World Champion Julian Void Jacobs, DJ Walbert, Venom, our former General Manager and former World Champion. And also his big feud where he's remembered most this year in a singles run in 2023 with Fletch, the man that he finally made peace last week on XCW TV, to where I pointed out, and maybe the biggest moment of his career, where it all crystallized as to why he is that first real wrestler, the most popular wrestler, some would say, in XCW on September 9th, 2023, when alongside his best friend and tag team partner, the essential one, Rob Slater, captured those XCW tag team championships. After all of these things that I have said here now, it is why, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions, the first real wrestler, Mr. Justin Parsley. Now, I'm going to give him that usual introduction that he has heard not once, not twice, but three times now. But it's a Hall of Fame like introduction as he now joins the likes of the natural born fighter R.P. Davis and Dean Allmark, who, oh, by the way, defeated Jushin Thunder Liger and Bryan Danielson. Not bad company at all. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one, global sports show, one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions, one half of the XCW Tag Team of the Year, the newest member of the XCW Hall of Fame, but most importantly, the third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the first real wrestler, Justin Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you for the nomination and the entry into your Hall of Fame. Thank you for all the acknowledgments. Thank you for everything, Tom. I appreciate everything you do. You know that.
No problem. Now, hopefully, hopefully, this speech that I made was almost as good, or maybe even better, than the ones I did for Dean Olmark and RP Davis. I feel like those I kind of prepared. This one was like right off the top of my head, but I think this one was actually better. This one was better because I think it was longer. And I think the intro of you was longer, so that's a good one. So that's a good start. So hopefully, you can go back and watch those, but. Obviously, we'll get into business and encounters because there's a lot to get into. That's why, if you heard, I said I think you guys are the tag team champions. We'll talk about that in a little while, but I have to ask you first of all, and you've had a lot in a short amount of time that you've done. I know obviously we joked and spoke about last time you with Rob Slater, and congratulations to Rob Slater, obviously also in being a part of the XCW Hall of Fame, also alongside you winning the Tag Team of the Year. But what has this day meant to you? I mean, to be in 2 Hall of Fames in one day, I mean, I can guarantee you, Justin Parsley, you are going to be in a class of your own because we're going to have, I'm sure, many more members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. We're going to have on Bentley next week to induct. And now I guess you could say your friend Fletch is going to be inducted next Thursday, but I'll guarantee you're going to be the only person in Sportswire Hall of Fame history to be inducted into 2 Hall of Fames in one day. So what has this day been like for you?
I mean, I don't even think I can put words with it. Like, I'm just sort of speechless, right? Like, I wasn't there for the acceptance speech, unfortunately, but it was a really cool honor. And then watching Rob accept it was really dope. And we planned this, but to know that it was all just going to accumulate and happen that way, I didn't foresee all that coming down. So it's an honor, man. It is something else to be acknowledged by peers and fans and whatever alike, friends alike, that they think so highly of me in such a short amount of time. Like you said, I mean, there's a
I mean, really, if we think about the XCW body of work, it's a short amount of time. But as I said, I'm going to give myself credit for a second because I'm going to get into what Fletch said when you got inducted into the XCW Hall of Fame. But what you have done here in a year and a half, a little more than that, I think you've really stood out because I think, let's talk about it. Venom, obviously, that was a big feud with the whole Kurt Aston Memorial. That basically where it all started. Julian Void Jacobs, who was on here a few weeks ago on Sportswire, and he's a former world champion. He was the world champion, not too long ago, in a really, real recent time, and he had recent wins, the hardcore title, the international title. So he's had a lot of the gold here, and then obviously Fletch. Defeating Fletch. I mean, Fletch, the man that really, this is his baby. This is his company. And DJ Wahlberg, I mean, you've had some big, big wins in singles action. And obviously what you've done with your best friend, Rob Slater. I mean, I think in a short amount of time, I think they measure you. And I said this last month, they don't measure you sometimes in sports by the amount of years, the amount of wins you compile, but it's kind of the mark that you've left. And I think here in a short amount of time, you've done that. And I think that's why you got into the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm glad that my body of work speaks for itself, and that it can garner that kind of recognition. Because I do love storytelling. I love the creativity side of wrestling. That's a huge part of it for me. Thank God I'm a little athletic, so I can get out there and do it. But, definitely watching those stories come to life and people being invested in them and hearing the crowd and audience react to that is really cool.
Oh, they were definitely reacting to you guys into encounters. I think it was the first time I really felt the fans are 100% behind you guys. I am going to get into that. But, was it surreal? Because I want to get to the speech by Fletch in a second. Was it surreal to hear from the words from Fletch that XCW wouldn't exist without Mr. Parsley's himself, the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley? Was that surreal when you heard that tonight? Was that surreal?
It was a little surreal, but we had been doing it as a gimmick, right? We were saying we were the foundation of XCW, so what could XCW exist without its foundation, right? And then, I guess watch it all come to life. When he said he was blessed, and he doesn't use that terminology a lot.
No, Fletch doesn't do that. Not at all. Not at all.
Blessed, and he can say that he was blessed to have Rob and I there. That was some of the coolest recognition that could have happened from him.
Now, I want to say something else here for a second. I love XCW. We are going to plug a lot about XCW here in a few minutes. But, I was listening to Fletch talk about this vote. And he was talking about the second Hall of Fame. And he said the vote was won originally by Stephen Rain. And, he was talking about the vote for these two members was overwhelming, and that's where you guys kind of segued in. But I am gonna do this here as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, and your voice of all wrestling, the Reverend Tom Bryce. There was one vote that he didn't mention. There was truly only one vote that mattered. And the real reason you're in that Hall of Fame, in my opinion, is because of the vote of the Reverend Tom Bryce. Because I said on the show, you and Rob Slater deserve to be in that Hall of Fame because of what Rob Slater did in the early years of XCW, everything that he did in BYWE. And, it was a little unfortunate that you guys had to wait as long as it was to really get a full kind of taste and a full amount of success that you guys have had here in XCW. And I think, once again, the one vote that mattered, not the amount of fan votes and whoever else to stuff the ballot, whatever it may have been in terms of the total numbers, the one vote that truly mattered was your voice of all wrestling, the Reverend Tom Bryce. And that's my opinion, and I know it's a fact.
Yeah, you could be right. I think you're probably right. I think Rob dropped the ball by not thanking you during the speech. That's where it happened. I don't know if it was Fletch that dropped the ball. I think Rob should have said.
Well, listen, I can't blame Rob because, Rob, it's tough to go up there. You're obviously there in front of your peers, and you've only got X amount of time. If I was up to so when I did the ceremony to induct you, it was like, okay, right off the top. I mean, it's like, wow, you're going to listen and go, well, it was really good. I mean, I'll dare say that I think my speech might have been the best of anybody's compared to what I saw in the viewer's choice. But you got to remember, I'm doing this every single day on Sportswire. A lot of people in the locker room, it's kind of tough. It's a little nerve-wracking. So you can't blame Rob. It's not his fault here that he couldn't remember me. But Mr. Fletch, obviously, Mr. Fletch, you would have thought had said the one vote that would have mattered is the Reverend Tom Bryce's. Just saying, Justin Parsley, just saying.
Well, thank you, Tom Bryce. I'm in the Hall of Fame now, so I appreciate you and your voice and you voicing your opinion the way that you do.
Okay, obviously there's a lot to get into here. I have a lot of comments. A lot of people want to get into this. We're going to get into that. But, also I want to conversely ask you, what did it mean for you and Rob? And I know Rob's here. I want to say hello to him. But what did it mean for you and Rob Slater to win the Tag Team of the Year? I think that was an award we thought that we could definitely win that. And I think based on the amount of days that you held the Tag Team title, it was almost like you just got over the finish line. And literally a photo finish, I would say, to win that one. So kind of talk about what that meant to you.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was kind of watching through because I had cut out before then. And so I'm watching through and seeing like the reigns and how many days they were and stuff. And I was just kind of anticipating like, well, how long has it been for Rob?
I did the same thing. I was like, when I was watching tonight, the Viewers' Choice Awards, I'm like, boy, this is going to be the close one. This is going to be the photo finish, you might want to say.
We're about like 15 days shy of what the longest.
Yeah, I think it was 98 days, if I'm not mistaken, was the longest run.
So that was, it's an honor, but I think that the run speaks for itself too. Like, I think that there is a lot of, like he said, honor and prestige back in the tag team division. And we did that out of respect to Benji, one half of the first XCW tag team champions.
It was very emotional. I know that when we had you guys on together, and obviously I want to get you guys back for another real appearance here in Sportswire, the two of you guys, but I know how much it meant. And Rob, in the brief words he had, it was definitely an emotional moment. I mean, I know you've spoken to Rob, obviously, since Viewer's Choice went off the air. And, I know not being there, it's not what we would have hoped for, but I would have to think that it was very emotional, not only for him, but also for you, knowing, because you said it here on this show, both times you were on, the Benji's role in both of your careers. Kind of talk about that emotions for a second.
Yeah, I had no idea what he was going to say. I just, whenever I had left, I said, if we win, speak for me. And when he got up there and said all the right words.
So you didn't give him any first real advice, and there was no real advice?
No real advice. I knew Rob Slater could do it on his own. I know how Rob Slater is, baby. So I let him go out there, and he killed it, and he brought up Benji and dedicated the tag team run to him, and it just played out perfectly. I mean, I think it was the right time to tell everybody and announce it, and everyone loved it backstage. All the talent they popped. So
No, I thought he was good. Honestly, look, it's very tough up there. I get it. I know Brady Branson. It was almost like the Brady Branson show in between Robs. It was like I was like losing count. How many times? Like we ended the show, we started the show with Brady. We're in between. It was almost like a halftime break with Brady Branson. I mean, Brady Branson I think, had more awards won than the Raiders scored touchdowns in the first half or something like that in the Thursday Night Football game. But obviously, listen, Brady definitely deserved a lot of those awards. But, obviously, it's very tough to go up there on that moment. So I think Rob did a great job. I want people to follow XCW on a number of platforms. I want to also say hello to people as we are here for a special. The third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and also a member of the XCW Hall of Fame, also XCW Tag Team Wrestler of the Year, Mr. Justin Parsley is here with us live, and we are with him. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Let me say hello to a ton of people here. There's a lot of people that want to talk to you. First of all, I want to say hello to my buddy Ron out there in Pennsylvania. Got a new look on that photo. Good evening, Tom. And Mr. Slater wants to say the two-time Hall of Famer in XCW and Sportswire. And Rob, I think next time we're going to get Rob on, we're going to make him a two-time Hall of Famer also, because I want to make sure Rob gets in there also. Congrats, my brother. You deserve it. And great job, as always, Rob Slater. I want to say hello to our buddy Michael Blackheart. And obviously, Michael, I want to give my condolences to his grandmother. Obviously, if I could say it on the air, I want to give my thoughts and prayers to Michael. And Michael's really been just a trooper. He promised to be here, and I know he's going through a lot. And he says how much Sportswire and XCW has meant to him. So I really want to say it's people like Michael that allow me to continue to have an audience and people that want to be interested in Sportswire. First off, before I get called away, I want to thank you, Justin, man to man, for reaching out to me these last few days. You've helped me be a better father and husband, and thank you. Thank you, Michael, for everything that you do. And he thanked me also for my kind words. And, pleasure's all mine. Don't even worry about it. Fletch said it best during his speech before he inducted us. XCW exists because of you, Justin Parsley. There's no question you deserve to go in. And it's no question that you both deserve to go in. And it's no question that you both are going to be members of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And there's no question, though, that the reason you're in both Hall of Fames, once again, because of that one vote that mattered most, is the man behind Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. Just saying, listen, Fletch is going to be here next week, so don't worry. I'm going to talk to Fletch 7 o'clock Eastern time about this. So we're going to talk about that. A lot to talk about with Fletch. I want to say hello to the owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, Mr. Joshua Allen. Mr. Allen's going to be back here right before Santa comes down the chimney, so stay tuned for more details of that. But speaking of people I'm going to get to in a few minutes, the man you just saw at Encounters, and you really had an encounter with him. I'm going to get to that very, very shortly. I want to say hello also to my very, very lovely friend out there in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, Miss Zena, who says that my vote always matters to her. Well, that's certainly then my most important word of support. And she also says, am I wearing a New York City Police Department shirt? Yes, because I'm not a New York City Police Department officer, and also because I want something good to wear because it's Justin Parsley's on the air. He's the first real wrestler. And I wasn't going to do this in a sport jacket and a polo shirt like I did for RPD, because I was telling Justin, I am not a suit and tie guy. I am going to do this the way we always do it here on Sportswire. So thank you, the lovely Zena. As always, I want to say hello to Mr. Drake Silverwolf of WCE and BTCW. He's got his own show, the Wolfpack Hour. How you doing? Rob says, I was under pressure. You left me to accept the award for both of us, so you dropped the ball. Did you drop the ball there or what?
I dropped the ball, yeah. So Tom is the reason that we're in any Hall of Fame that I am in or that I go into. Tom Bryce is the reason that happened.
Well, 2 of the Hall of Fames. I don't know if there'll be,
I'm just going to go ahead and call it. Moving forward.
Well, we'll see about that. I obviously, I'm going to get to Mr. Black. There's a lot to talk about him and Mr. Soldier GB. I'm going to get to them in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to get to these guys because you guys just squared off with them. And there's a lot I want to say about that. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond on that. But I want to come further back. Unexpected. I did not expect us to win. All of those teams. It was a really good tag class. The tag class, there's a number of teams you could have made the case that could have got those belts. About 3 or 4 other teams. So this was a big, big win. I'm gonna get to Soldier and Omen. I promise you on that. I'm gonna definitely get to the guys. But Omen, Soldier, we're gonna get to you. We're gonna definitely get to you. And also Miano Diaz, JP all the way. And I want to say hello to Miano Diaz because I love, by the way, speaking of Fletch, how about Cold Day in Hell? Miano Diaz and Fletch, EBW, XCW. I don't know about you, but I would love to hear from Miano Diaz one of these days on Sportswire to talk about. Now, I think right now, Fletch, he's on the ropes. I mean, if we saw how the show ended at Viewers' Choice, I mean, could we be looking at next year's XCW Viewers' Choice Awards, now the EBW Viewers' Choice Awards? So, I mean, listen, Miano Diaz, just saying, floor's open for you. Check us out on Sportswire, 6579 Backspace Streams. Follow me on Instagram, The Sports Report 2021, Facebook at Tom Bryce. Just saying, Miano Diaz, Fletch is on next Thursday. I would love to get you on, sir, right after that to talk about what Joshua Fletcher is going to say about you. Just saying, Justin Parsley.
Absolutely. Miano Diaz has a lot to say, and there's a lot to cover with him. I hope you do get him on.
I would love to have him. Like I said, I would love to have him. And I love
Star of the Year, right? That's what he was, right? Outbreak Star of the Year. So,
and I think next year we might be looking at him in your chair next year as a legitimate Hall of Famer. I mean, I really mean that, So it's going to be big year ahead, and you watch past, present, and future shows on Sportswire and get in touch with me through there. Let's get some more comments. Third member, but not number one in our hearts. Obviously, talking about, I believe, Benji there. So certainly we would definitely get there. Yes, and yes, I appreciate the real one words. And if anything else, I'll see you at Cold Day in Hell. It's going to be a cold day in hell on February the 11th. Oh boy, February the 11th. Can't get any sooner. Everybody's thinking about the Super Bowl, thinking about the ball drop. All I'm thinking about right now is, Clash of Christmas, New Year's Nemesis. I'm thinking about Cold Day. I got nothing else right now I'm thinking about. But that's all I'm thinking about. So should you. And yes, we want Miano Diaz on Sportswire. I want to get to Omen and Soldier. I'm going to get to them. I really want to get to them. But I kind of want to finish these ceremonies because the reason we're here is obviously to induct you. I want to repeat one more time. Justin Parsley is now officially the third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So congratulations. So I have to ask you then formally, because I asked you about being in the XCW Hall of Fame, but the Sportswire Hall of Fame, you're only the third member to be inducted so far. And the fourth one's going to be on Wednesday, and that's Bentley. Now, Bentley's got obviously the Bolton Town Wrestling and the GT Ministries World Championships. He's been up there, and he's been a world champion now, and for a few months, he's been a main event player. He's been on Sportswire. I think in my 5-year history, he's got to be number 2, I think, in all-time appearances. So, I mean, Bentley's a legend. He's been here for 2 years. Every, month and a half, we do a dance with him. But I have to ask you, though, in being the third member, I mean, not too bad company. R.P. Davis, considered to be the number 1 top British independent wrestler right now, wrestled Anthony Ogogo, who was an AEW and Olympian, was on SmackDown a few months ago as an extra in a Roman Reigns segment. He's got 3 world titles and a trophy. That's 4 championships he's holding. He's considered to be the unified champion in the UK. And Dean Allmark, who I pointed out, has wrestled in Japan, Italy, France, the UK, and the United States for a company called Impact Wrestling, has defeated Jushin Thunder Liger and Bryan Danielson. So how does it feel to be in the company of those greats and being in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, sir?
That's intimidating. It doesn't feel like I belong whenever you put out whenever you speak their accolades like that. The third member on my third appearance. I think that's got third time's a charm. Like, look, here
that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't plan it that way, but that's interesting, right? Because it's all 3s, and they always say things come in 3s. So it's your third appearance, you're the third member of the Hall of Fame, and you got in 2 Hall of Fames. I mean, maybe I'm onto something there. But how do I top the 4th appearance you come on, though? That's tough pressure on me now, because you talk about the pressure of you being in the company of RPD and Dean Allmark, but now I have to top the fact that your 4th appearance is going to have to do something to out-top the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
That's absolutely right. I'll let you plan that.
Well, the lovely Zena would say I can't plan anything. She says that I have a robotic voice or something about me with a robotic humor. So we'll have to see about that. But I'll move on from that. He'll be in Shelbyville. Okay, so I mean, anything else that you want to say and kind of summarizing about this day here, this surreal moment in being in these 2 Hall of Fames, or anything that you want to say to the people before I get into the current business with you and some other things? Anything that you might want to say about those things?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for whoever voted across the board for the XCW award show. I think Miano, it seems like, he's kind of a fan, but Rob Blackheart for being here, tuning in.
And what a great job Blackheart has been doing for us and just, supporting XCW. People like him and his father-in-law obviously was I think he was the second to last. He was the second to last person who did the emceeing.
Yeah, you're right. So a special thank you to all those guys, and then a special thank you to you, because obviously your vote's the one that pushed it over the line. And without your vote, I couldn't have been in the Sportswire Hall of Fame, period.
Well, that one I can tell you that was, that was really a one-person committee.
Right, yeah, so I needed that vote big time.
That one's worth, I would say, 100 million votes. So, I think that my vote in the Sportswire committee certainly is a one-person committee. So,
yeah,
but that's here nor there. But obviously, again, what a day for Justin Parsley. And I want people to follow Justin Parsley. Most important, I know you're checking him out on XCW, you're watching programming, but check this man out on a number of different platforms. It's all pretty simple to follow him on. That's Parsley's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and check out this man. Also support him in a couple different places. Kendall's Tavern, want to give him a huge shout out. Kendall's Tavern, Just Josh and Media, a number of different places you might see Justin Parsley. Make sure you support this man. Everything he does, he is really one of our favorites. He is definitely a real one. He's the first real wrestler. I would argue to say that he might be the most well-known XCW wrestler in terms of social media engagements, followers, views, because as much as we love XCW, there are some guys that may not have as many followers, but Justin Parsley definitely has the most followers, and that's why, once again, he is the newest member of not only the XCW Hall of Fame, but he is also the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame's third member, and he was also one half of the XCW Tag Team of the Year, voted by the XCW Galaxy. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio. And if you are on Sportswire Radio, you can check us out here anytime on a number of different platforms, including on YouTube. You can do that here on YouTube, here at 6579 Backspace Streams for past, present, and future XCW shows. We're going to have more XCW coverage, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Fletch is being inducted next Thursday into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So Fletch is going to get his due. He's going to get his moments. He's going to talk a lot about Miano Diaz. He's going to talk about Jacoby, because I'm getting to Jacoby next. I got to get to Jacoby next before I get to the Foundation versus Foundation. So Fletch is going to be here live next Thursday, 7 o'clock, and more XCW coverage is on the way each and every week on Sportswire. So definitely join the conversation. Support us here. You can also check us out anytime on sportswireradio.org, our brand new internet radio station, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You can listen to all of our great content. If you don't want to see my mutton chops, my long hair, my face, you can listen to us anytime via the Listen Now button. And also, if you want to read about Justin Parsley being inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, check that out here on tumblr.com at Sportswire Radio. You can not only read about Justin Parsley, but a whole slew of recent Sportswire Radio guests that have either been inducted into the show or have been on the show, like the likes of Jimmy Controversy, Hardcore, who just wrestled Madman Panda, who's going back to Japan right before the year is out. We've got so many great people that have come on Sportswire Radio. We have Bentley coming back, and we have James Barris, the owner of Cutlery Championship Wrestling. He's going to be back on. We just had Davey Blaze is coming back to CCW. Davey Blaze was in a ring with a guy named Kevin Nash. That's right, Kevin Nash, right? This guy Kevin Nash, who apparently wrestled, a whole slew of Hall of Fames and World Championships. Well, Davey Blaze wrestled him, and he is a part of CCW, and James Barris is going to tell us about that here real soon. So a whole slew of stars all across the wrestling scene and across all athletics, like Jason Facina, the head coach of the Five-Town Sound men's soccer team. We wrote about that on our Tumblr here and more. And we also have more coverage tomorrow with Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. We'll be here about, I think, 1 o'clock Eastern time, Australian time. So check that out with Ace Reed. Saturday, DVR of DBW. He's the voice of DVR. I got 2 shows for the price of one on Sunday. I've got Corey Graves. Here, and I've also got Ace Christian, the Blaze Ace Christian of VT. They talk about all things related to their company starting 6 o'clock Eastern time. But right now we are here with the third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, also the newest member of the XCW Hall of Fame, one half of the XCW Tag Team of the Year, and we think one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions, the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley. Okay, let's get to the comments here before I get to some things I want to talk about here. I want to say hello to my good friend Nicholas Crenton, who's also just starting out his brand new podcast on YouTube. Check that out. And I also want to send my condolences to somebody that came on the show here and his family, actually, a guy, Tim Mecca, who was a legend in the Wisconsin backyard wrestling scene many, many months ago. And unfortunately, he has passed away. We obviously don't know any details yet, but I want to extend my condolences to everybody in the Midwest backyard wrestling scene, especially in Wisconsin, about the passing of Tim Mecca. We had Tim Mecca here on Sportzwire Radio in I think a killer rabbit suit for those that remember about 8 or 9 months ago it's Craven Rage. But I want to send my absolute thoughts and prayers to a lot of people in the WCE locker room about Tim Mecca. And I will probably spend a few minutes on Tim Mecca Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with the brand new WCE All-Out champion Kodak Kid. So we'll spend a few minutes on there. Nicholas Crenson was on there a couple weeks ago. I want to absolutely send my thoughts and prayers to the former RCW Underground champion. So, okay, so I'm going to come back to Soldier and Omen because I see the comments are heating up there. But first of all, let's talk about JWF and let's talk about Jacoby Fletcher, and you, and certainly Jacoby. I mean, he's a real buzzsaw right now. I mean, and he really, and I know you were there for the first half of the show. Boy, Jacoby right now, I mean, he's a real bad mamma jamma. I mean, Omen and Soldier might be real scared of Jacoby. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I know you in the ring, Omen and Soldier, but Jacoby's one bad mamma jamma.
Yeah, I had a little bit more offense with Jacoby at least, so there was that. That was a perk.
Yeah, well, Jacoby, I don't know if you're going to be facing Jacoby anytime soon. Jacoby right now, that JWF, and the popularity of the JWF, by the way. I mean, I know you're the first real wrestler. And
Did you catch our match? Jacoby and I, did you see our match?
I sure did.
Yeah.
I watched it. I was like, boy, I think there was more people that viewed that than sometimes our XCW shows. I didn't want to say it that way, but Jacoby's definitely, he brings the heat, I suppose. I know you bring the heat, but Jacoby's got the... he's got the following. What's in the water there in the JWF?
It must be the training. It has to be the training. I think someone's teaching him something. Yeah, I think he's got a really good trainer. That's probably what it all boils down to.
So I guess a year from now, Viewer's Choice, maybe we'll see like 4 Jacoby Awards or something like that.
Yeah, he'll be the new Brady Branson. Yeah.
And Nicholas,
all those bad guy speeches, man. He was so rude.
He was the most ruthless of ever. I think Brady Branson wasn't even that bad. I think EBW wasn't even that bad. I was like, wow, okay. What was in his cocoa today? What was in his eggnog? I think even Mrs. Fletcher was kind of like looking at him. I mean, and she was, I think, twice an MC, I think, for the awards. And I was he certainly ho ho ho, Merry Christmas to Jacoby, I suppose.
Yeah, probably cold this year because he's a savage little brat.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't want to be at that dinner table there in the Fletcher household. Let me just put it that way. I've got my own issues these days. I mean, certainly, I'm going to certainly plead the fifth on that. But Nicholas Crenson wants to correct me. I had Eric Mecca, who was Tim's nephew. But nevertheless, I want to certainly still send my condolences to Tim because Tim trained a lot of the guys in WC. So thank you for correcting me that. We'll talk about that on Tuesday's show with Kodak Kid. So before I get to encounters, I have to ask you, that moment with you and Fletch. We spoke about you and Fletch, right? Months ago, he came on, you came on here. You both told your side of the story about you not being here in XCW and that whole situation in Summer Mania. But yet, it almost seems like everything is all in the past. It seems like now you guys have maybe a mutual respect after Fletch saved you after that match. And was that an even further surreal moment that kind of you and Fletch kind of are okay now? I mean, talk to me about what we saw last week in the JWF.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to bond over disciplining his son, but no, but for real, it is a surreal experience. But Fletch and I are now like, we're almost like best friends. Like I can go to him about anything. Like it doesn't have to be wrestling. And I checked up on him because he was sick here recently. And I told him if he needed me to like run soup or anything to his house, like, it's just weird what Benji's passing. Unfortunately, like it's just an unfortunate event that had to happen for everything to be turned right side up. So that part sucks. I wish Benji could be here to experience it with us, and I wish we could have buried the hatchet a long time ago. But forgiveness is absolutely required, and I know that I had to do my part and let bygones be bygones. And whether he wanted to do the same or not, that was up to him. And I'm glad that we're on the same page.
Absolutely, no question about that. And obviously, we'll see what happens between you, Fletch, and I guess whatever's with Jacoby certainly in the future. And we wish the JWF very, very well. And again, you can go to XCW's social medias for more information on that. I'm going to plug that here one more time because we want to make sure we support everything in XCW. But I will get to two things here before I get to encounters. I really have been chomping at the bit at this. So let me get to Michael. Two comments here before I read up a ton of comments between your tag team partner and Omen and Soldier. It's been a night, but it's an honor to be in your presence and a bigger honor to share a Christmas memory with you, Justin. Word said to me is in death people unite. Yes, in death people definitely unite. There's no question that unfortunately we go through things, but at the end of the day, this is all temporary, and we will certainly have the best of memories, and the best is what's yet to come for everybody. So thank you, Michael, for those words. But let's move on from death because I don't want to talk about too much death because it really does give me a headache. And my lovely friend Zena is going to really be mad at me, and I don't need that. But I'm only goofy. But let's talk about now what we saw in encounters. And I want to say this as a whole before we get to your match, the main event against the Foundation, this Foundation versus Foundation, which, by the way, on Sportswire Radio, we were kind of credited for that before leading into the match. This was not a good night for XCW at all. I mean, Jacob Collins, who was from ROW and CBW, I mean, he rather dispatched of Brady Branson, who was like Mr. XCW Viewers' Choice Awards winner. I mean, I want to get to your guys' match in a second, but I don't know if I expected to what I had saw by XCW. Do you think it was because Brady, yourself, and Rob Slater were just maybe overwhelmed, overworked by the rewards night, and to go back out there and go out there in the ring after just that long ceremonies? And, because remember, when WWE does their Hall of Fame ceremony, they do all their stuff. It's always the night before WrestleMania. You guys did them all 2 for 1. Do you think maybe between Brady, yourself, and Rob Slater, that maybe just that whole experience, just that long experience maybe kind of drained you guys from kind of not having the results that we expected in encounters from you guys? You think that was a part of it?
I think that could have been a part of it. I think a big part of it was, in working in XCW, we see the talent week in, week out. We see them all the time, so we can study their film footage. We can figure out their next move. Whenever you bring in outsiders, there's a little bit of uncertainty, obviously, with that. I mean, you can study the best you can, but you're never there live for it. So when the Foundation showed up, and at first I thought, Dirty Donnie or whoever was the Foundation, and you can't see Rob and I, but we're losing it in the ring because I'm like, this is the this is the Foundation that you're talking about.
But you didn't see that on Sportswire though. They were here with you. They were here, and they addressed you guys right after you guys came on. I mean, you had to know that Omen and Soldier have made their presence
up. I had no idea they would show up. I didn't know they would actually come.
Oh, so you didn't think they would really show up? Then you thought that basically they would pull a Craven Rage to Omen Black and just not bother? You think maybe that's what you thought in a way?
Yeah. I thought it was. I thought everybody was talking smack until Omen Black smacked me, and then I figured out this was.
You think also it was that, let's say in your match, and again Jacob Collins and Brady Branson. Jacob Collins, he's been on here and he's certainly come a long way, but Jacob Collins has not had the success that a Brady Branson has had. Do you think that, let's say, Jacob Collins and Omen and Soldier were looking to come into XCW's house and kind of show you guys up, and they kind of had you guys almost fit to a T, and they studied you guys, and XCW is the gold standard. XCW is obviously the place to be. XCW doesn't really focus on its competitors. XCW doesn't think about what's going on in ROW. XCW doesn't really think that much about CBW. XCW doesn't certainly think about the IMF or these other promotions. And you think that maybe then that you guys, they kind of had you guys pegged to a T, and almost they were motivated to kind of show you guys up in your house? You think that's what it was also?
Yeah, I think maybe they had a clearer idea of what they were getting into coming into our house. And whereas maybe, I don't know if it was a communication breakdown or what, but, maybe, Fletch could have given us a little bit, more leniency and kind of letting us know how it was going to be instead of just the outside talent. But I don't, it was just.
Well, has that continued to be where XCW has had problems, not only with outside talent, but certainly in EBW? Is that what you're implying to me, Justin Parsley, the first real wrestler? Is that what you're telling me right now on Sportswire?
That's definitely an issue. I mean, there's always a communication issue, it seems. But And then the error on my part for thinking that Foundation wouldn't show. I mean, I've seen Jacob Collins before. I've seen Jacob Collins beat Jack Delta in an XCW ring.
Yes,
Mhm.
Jacob Collins has certainly, like I said, he's come a long way. I've had him on the show in the past. No question, he's come along the way.
I knew he was capable. Didn't know he would beat Brady on Brady's work.
Well, that was Brady Branson was the most, I would say, maybe, when we think about XCW champions, I mean, he was the most dominant champion this year.
Absolutely.
He was the man. So the fact that he came in and beat Brady Branson, I mean, that kind of surprised me. I got to be honest. I think that set the tone for the evening.
Yeah, and it seems like it did. And Jacob Collins is now a household name, and the Foundation will tell you that they're a household name too. So,
but they came into your place. I'm going to get to those guys specifically in a second. I'm going to get to Soldier and Omen. But XCW, I've said it here. What have I always said about XCW? We're the gold standard. XCW is the place that's always talked about. Again, endorsements are not given here. They're earned. XCW has always earned the endorsement of being where they are. Joshua Fletcher, let's kick the ballistics here. Let's go break the fourth wall. Joshua Fletcher really is the reason why a lot of these companies in Tennessee and Iowa and Michigan and Wisconsin and Connecticut now and Maryland and Alabama, they all exist really because he believed in something and he stuck with it. So you had to think, though, that these companies, these competitors were going to come in here and show him up almost. And, I don't know if it's Joshua Fletcher and maybe the leadership. I don't know what it was, but I mean, there's no question that I think guys were pumped. They were hyped, especially on the first ever show. It's the first ever show of a new platform here. And Joshua Fletcher, this was his baby. And as I said, Omen Black, there would be no Omen Black without Joshua Fletcher. Jack Delta, right? Jack Delta is the backyard wrestling Johnny Cash. There is no Jack Delta without Josh Fletcher. Tennessee backyard wrestling, Gage, Flair, the Nature Boy, Atomic Titan. There's none of that without Joshua Fletcher. So you had to think, though, that these guys, all of them in here that came in, they wanted to show something. And unfortunately, this could have been where you guys got caught in it. And certainly Brady Branson did as well.
Yeah, we were completely caught off guard. Like I said, I mean, I let my guard down and thought it would be an easier task. And then when I saw the physical size of these two men, it became a pipe dream again. It felt like almost.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. As we're here with Justin Parsley, obviously the first real wrestler. Justin Parsley is also the newest member of the Sportswire Radio and XCW Hall of Fames. He's also the XCW Tag Team Wrestler of the Year, alongside his partner, the Essential One, Rob Slater. And, let's talk about this. Obviously, let's go into Omen and Soldier, the Foundation. We heard the hype. We saw it here live on Sportswire. We caught it in encounters right before the match itself. And you guys did face off with Julian Voigt Jacobs and Mitchell Maverick. You had size. You saw guys in there, the EBW rejects, hopefuls, whatever you want to define them. I mean, so you've been in there with big men, but what was it about Omen and Soldier that took you and the Essential One, Rob Slater, off guard?
I think it's the style. I think, they're strong style. 100%. They show up, they lay in a beating, and they hold nothing back. Whereas, like I said, I've worked with these other guys, these other big guys, where I know their weaknesses. I can exploit them. I don't have enough footage or time to watch the footage of even Omen and Soldier, and that's on me. Because watching a little bit of that could have even helped out, probably just a hair, but not studying the tape and not doing my homework. I mean, that lets me, with a failed assignment.
Why do you think it was you didn't do your homework?
Maybe this tag team run, I mean, maybe it all is just gotten to my head a little bit too much.
A lot of pressure, obviously the war with Unholy, certainly this whole thing with Julian Jacobs being a psychiatrist and
abducting with my fiance, and it's been a rough year. And I just thought the Foundation would be another match, and it was a lot more than just another match.
Well, they're here. I want to read off their comments. They want to say a lot to you, and I'm going to give them the opportunity. So let me tell you what Omen Black and Soldier GP would like to say to you guys.
Sure.
First of all, Soldier GP wants to tell me, and forgive me, depending on where I am in this chat, I'm going to start with Soldier first, obviously the IMF champion. We're going to see, by the way, the IMF guys. December the 16th, Winter Clash this Saturday. And that's going to be, stay tuned for more details, IMF Wrestling 666. Also, IMF_wrestling on Instagram, Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling on Facebook. Why don't we talk about how scared they were on encounters? We're going to do that here. Your tag team partner scared, Soldier? That wasn't scared. We just underestimated you. We didn't give you the credit you deserved. Next time we get you in the ring, you're going to see a side of the real ones that nobody has. You refused to come in that ring toward the end, didn't you? Let's talk about that. Now, obviously, we know that the match, for those that haven't got a chance or just watched, the match ended in a count-out loss for you guys. It was your first technical loss as the XCW Tag Team Champions in an actual two-on-two match, I would say. And obviously, there was a mixed tag match you guys lost in, but this was a two-on-two match. I mean, what happened there where you guys were beaten? You know, it looked like the ref was counting. I think it was Steve-O was counting and was seeing 8, 9, and you almost kind of like I frozen time, like you stood there at 10. Did you refuse to come in the ring there at that moment when Steve-O was counting? Talk about that.
I didn't know where I was in that moment. I didn't know if the ring was. I didn't know where I was. That beating.
Yeah.
That's probably the most brutal match. That has to be the most brutal match I've had in XCW today. And I let Void beat the hell out of me.
I was about to say Void. You've had Void a couple times, singles and tag. Good point.
Yeah, and that was rough, but nothing like this, Tom. Nothing like what went down then. And like Soldier said here, he's right. Rob did refuse to get in the ring, and Soldier brought him in.
I would have thought, though, you would have asked people in the locker room, like a Jackson Law, for example, who's seen them in Michigan. I would have thought, you know, Aaron Blaze has seen them. I would have thought you guys would have spoke to people in the locker room that have seen these guys. Jack Delta, for example. I mean, Jack Delta knows everybody. I would have thought you guys would have spoke to different people in the locker room about these guys because I've seen these guys. They've been on my show for a long time, and I've seen them in Michigan. I've seen them especially in Wisconsin. I know what these guys bring to the table. I'm kind of surprised that you and Rob Slater, the Essential One, wouldn't have just asked some veterans in the locker room who have seen these guys and shared a locker room with them.
It's sort of mythological still. So like, I could go talk to someone about alien abduction who's been abducted, but it's going to be hard to relate or understand where they're coming
Although
from.
some people would like me to be abducted by aliens, but hey, who's counting, right?
Or too Bigfoot or what? I don't know what road you're going to go down.
I think that was Sammy Hagar. It was in Howard Stern, the X Van Halen thing. He was talking about like he was abducted by aliens or something like that. I'm like, I was listening to it one day. I'm like, really? You were abducted by aliens? So what was that like, sir?
And they gave you back?
I was gonna say the same thing, but okay, all right, fair. Okay, I give you that. I'll give you a pass. Let's get to more comments before I do something. You beat us down. You used the weight advantage to your favor. Now we've had the taste of you, and next time we won't tread lightly in the ring with you. You won the battle, but the war is far from over. And where was the heat at encounters? You guys refuse to get back in the ring. We should be the XCW Tag Team Champions. Now, as we know, Justin Parsley, the first real wrestler, Mr. Parsley is yourself. You know that when the match had ended and we closed from the Mental Lab Studios, logo, Explosive Championship Wrestling, all that fun little credits we love to see on all XCW shows. I love those credits, by the way. But we saw Soldier and Omen go like this. What did that mean? Because I even said, I think you're the XCW Tag Team Champions. I mean, it was announced by Fletch. You retained, but they went like this. What happened there? They went like this.
So that's the last recollection I have of it, is what you saw, what I saw. Because when we went to go retrieve the titles after the show, they had already cut out, went to Iowa, and took the belts with them.
So are you saying, wait, time out. Are you saying that Soldier, Dirty Donnie, Omen Black all of a sudden darted and somebody had the car keys in the pocket? They didn't even go and mingle with the rest of the locker room. They darted out of there, out of the St. Paul's gym, and got that pickup truck that Omen and Soldier have, and with Dirty Johnny riding shotgun, and all of a sudden just darted out from Indiana to Iowa with your belts? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know if they darted, so I don't want you to put words in my mouth. But yes, I will say that they abducted the tag titles, and as far as I know, took them back to Iowa with them. It's interesting because did you not say that they have a show coming up?
Yeah, I want to get to that in a second. 'Cause apparently, they have a show in less than 48 hours from now, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I have a couple of comments here and I actually have something for you in a second. The Heated Encounters was brought by the two of you. I'm a man and can admit defeat, but this is the only defeat we will have, and we will bring much more than heat next time. And Omen wants to tell you, Justin, I'm telling you right now, you don't want me to come on to my show, but you know what? I'm feeling like I need to. You're showing more heat talking than what I saw in that ring. Our style and presence threw them off. Starstruck at most. Maybe we have them, maybe we don't. And Omen, I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, were you starstruck by that? I mean, obviously, the IMF, the foundation, does have this following. I mean, you're Justin Parsley. I mean, you're supposed to be a two-time Hall of Famer. I mean, Ric Flair's a two-time Hall of Famer, right? I mean, isn't the NWO two-time Hall of Famer? So, I mean, were you starstruck by what you saw there? Because it really was. I got to be honest. I mean, my recollection of the match, I actually watched it twice, sir. I didn't really see much offense from the real ones.
Awestruck, maybe. I don't know about starstruck. Unless this match somehow put them on the map as stars, because the XCW Tag Team Championships do belong to Rod Slater and Justin Parsley, the real ones. And if that requires going to Iowa to grab those Tag Team Championships and bring them back to Indiana, then so be it. We can do this however they want to. But we miscalculated once, and it's never, ever going to happen again.
Now, obviously, you saw a lot from them in the ring, and it was obviously very one-sided. And Soldier wants to point out that you don't look very Hall of Famey. But if the guys in Omen and Soldier, right? Obviously, you mentioned this show, December the 16th, and we've been plugging it a lot here on Sportswire, by the way, right? So obviously, you're aware of this. But I was wondering, if I had Omen Black available and he wants to say something to you, I mean, I know it's a special show here tonight on Sportswire, but would you want to hear from Mr. Omen Black? Obviously, the man that you just saw in kind of this battle of the Foundation versus Foundation. And some might even argue after watching Encounters right now, there's only one Foundation. Would you want to hear from Mr. Black? It's your call, Justin Parsley. If you want to talk to him, it's your call. He's here. He wants to talk to you. He wants to say hello. He wants to congratulate you. Obviously, want to thank you for the opportunity of being in the ring. But would you want to talk to him?
It's his show, right?
Well, it's your show because you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but if you want to speak to your opponent, I know you just saw him. I know you just saw him about 85 minutes ago. But would you want to see him once again? I know that obviously maybe he just got off the road from a rest stop at McDonald's. Maybe he went off at the gas station to go, pull some gas extra there from, Indiana to Iowa. But, he's at a rest stop right now. He's literally at a rest stop as we speak. And he's just filled up his tank of gas. And he's got to a spot in the road. And he's literally calling you right from the road. So would you want me to bring him on? Because he's right off the road here right now.
Well, I think I might have a little bit of Dane Bramage from that match that we had, so I'm not recollecting him real well. So yeah, bring him on. Let's talk.
He's fresh off the road. He is fresh off the rest stop. He is on his way back to Iowa. It's his show, and he just filled up some gas. They just had some McDonald's. Obviously, he's saying on behalf of Soldier and Dirty Donnie, we're bringing him on here, fresh on the road. Obviously, safe travels back to Iowa, sir. Mr. Omen Black, congratulations on that count-out victory. You're here now. Say whatever you like to the man you just saw about 90 minutes ago, Mr. Justin Parsley.
That's a sketch-ass road stop, by the way. Like, rest stop, where Omen's at. That's sketchy. I would get out of there as quick as I could.
They're dangerous over there, huh? What's the border? Is there a border between Iowa and Indiana?
We're built different, all right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
You can tell from Encounters, we're definitely built different. As you can see, Justin Parsley, congratulations. You're in my Hall of Fame on Sportswire. So congrats, buddy. You deserve it somewhat. But now, see, you want to come on here, talk all this heat, talk all this shit about, we underestimated the Foundation. We underestimated Soldier and Omen. No. It wasn't underestimating us. You're not them. You're not the guys who's going to put us down. Now, yeah, you're right. I do have your tag team title. Well, mine now. Because, I left Encounters with it. I walked past everyone in the EBW locker room, everyone in the XCW locker room, and no one said a goddamn thing. Now, is that out of fear? Or are they just so happy to see someone deserving of the title carry it? Justin, it's funny how you guys thought we weren't going to show up. Very funny. Good joke. You should be a comedian for that. But think about Foundation. Wherever we say we're going to go, we show up. We do what we got to do, and we leave. Now, unfortunately, Rob Slater's not on here for you. So what are you going to say? What do you guys say about Winter Clash? You've kind of hinted to about our show this weekend. You know what? Me and Soldier talked about it. We got you guys front row seats at Winter Clash. That's if you guys show up.
Well, then I guess what I want to say to you, Omen Black, is that at Winter Clash, we will see you there. We're going to be in Iowa. We're going to cash in on your front row seats. We're going to watch your petty little show. And we are coming to take back the XCW Tag Team Championships. For real.
Now, that's fine, Justin, but I advise you, if you get in my way during my match with Matthew Forsaken and Damian Saint, then I'm going to bury 3 bodies that night.
Maybe I'll wait till they're done with you and just pick up the scraps.
Where was that energy at Encounters? Nowhere.
I think
I love the commentary too.
Omen, shut up. Let me talk. I think I had to beat by you in order to put that fire inside of me, because it's here and it's real and it's coming for you to burn your entire city down, bro.
And there he is. There's the guy that I watched on XCW many of times. You know what, Justin? I think what the problem is, you just lost yourself being champion. You lost that fire. And I'm glad that me and Soulja can bring it out of you again. Now, Winter Clash. I will deal with you myself. Soulja will deal with Rob himself after the show. We advise you. You get in your seat and you sit the fuck down. Like the good little boys you guys are.
Are you sure you want to go to this, Dustin Parsley, on December the 16th, this Saturday? You sure? I mean,
I'm sure I want to go to this, Tom Bryce, and I'm sure that no man, no boy, no anybody is ever going to tell me what to do. So I'll be there. I'll be in my seat that you reserved for me. I'll stand up to boo guys like you and cheer guys like Jackson Law, possibly. And the
I forgot that guy's going to be
remember, bring it all back around. Walking away with those straps, something that you guys stole. Thievery? Add that to the Foundation's resume. But we're taking them back, and they're coming to Indiana, and they're coming back to XCW where they belong.
I just want to say this. I've done way worse shit than steal a belt. I don't want to bring up the past, but, me and my tag team partner, we weren't always on the same side. Tom, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I listen, you guys have had some real wars in the IMF. In fact, I just saw you on your own show, actually. That was kind of interesting. You had a few things to say there with Mr. HS there. So you certainly said a few things there to say the least. And I would even say, going on Sportswire, you practically murdered some guy named Craven Rage, and he's never wanted to face you, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Who? Sorry, I'm doing an owl impression. Who?
Oh, is it Al Season?
Apparently that little piece of shit's going to be a Winter Clash too. You know what? I hate to say that Winter Clash is going to bring a lot of dirt bags, pieces of shit, pathetic inbred people like people from Wisconsin, besides Jovi.
He's Foundation, that's right.
And now Indiana's got to be on that list, especially with Jackson Law.
First question, is there now only one foundation after what we saw in Encounters a little while ago? In your opinion, is there only truly now one foundation?
It's been proven way before Encounters. These guys just want to ride our coattails with the brand, the foundation. That's what it is. You shut your mouth now. I let you talk. You're going to let me talk, Mr. Hall of Famer. My show. Remember that. See, no, I got all flustered now. Tom, ask your question again.
Is there now...
Hold on, I just remembered it. Yeah, they're riding coattails of the foundation.
Yep, that's correct.
It's a brand. That's what it is. It's a brand. You know, I want to say this, breaking the fourth wall a little bit. Not only did we leave Indiana and XCW with your title, we also left with another foundation member with us. And not Dirty Donnie, no. We came with 3, and we left with 4. But that person will let himself known in XCW very soon. I promise you that.
Ooh, something tells me here that the foundation is growing. And if I were a fan of the IMF, which you want to follow them on YouTube at IMF Wrestling 666, Instagram IMF_wrestling, and on Facebook Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling, you very well could be seeing more members of the foundation coming in to XCW. And this is kind of a quandary almost, Justin Parsley, for you and Rob Slater. Reminds me of the old 1960s Batman shows when Batman and Robin would get in trouble and we'd have to find out until next week and what could happen. And it seems like there's a question mark here, Justin Parsley, for you and Rob Slater. Are you still sure December the 16th, 48 hours, less than that now, that you're prepared to have that front row seat? Is there a question mark going into this? I mean, Omen Black is on a rest stop right now. He's smoking a cigarette. He's showing why he's the boogeyman of the Midwest. He's showing why he's the guy that punked out Craven Rage. He's the guy that's showing why he's went to all over the country. He's the guy that's showing that a company in Maryland, they're not even talking to him much. He's showing pretty much why he's the boss right now. I mean, he literally is the boogeyman of the Midwest. You have been unstoppable in this run. You're into this sport, but now I feel like there's a question mark here for the first time, Justin.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a mind game or if there's a real mole inside the XCW locker room, but we'll take care of that when it happens. I am 100% positive that we're going to be in Iowa.
Oh, no. It's no mind game. I wouldn't lie to you, Justin. I wouldn't. Not a lying guy. Tom, you know, very truthful, what I say.
I've known you about a year, Omen. You've come on to Sportswire, and there's been different people that have been here and done that. And you guys have traveled, I would say, to a quarter of the United States so far, just about something like that?
Now, I'm not one to say I don't play mind games with my opponents. I do. Very good at it. But no, yeah, we left Iowa with 3, came back with 4. So the foundation's it's like a sickness, it's like a disease. Like we're growing every time we go somewhere.
Like herpes. Yeah, great.
I mean, I don't want to talk about you and Rob, what you guys got, but sure.
Leave Rob out of this.
Well, Rob actually has something to say to you, Omen. He wants to say that you didn't pin us, nor did you make us submit. You beat us down. You don't become champions by beating down people. You win by pinfall or submission. And next match, we will pin you 1, 2, 3, and we will still be the XCW Tag Team Champions. But the greatest accomplishment will be beating the real ones who gave you your first ever loss.
I want to piggyback on that.
Yes, sir.
He wants to be the Foundation's first loss. It's very admirable, but very stupid. But here's something very truthful. Aren't we your guys' first loss?
In tag team.
Huh. Weird, right?
Poetic.
I can't scratch my head. Did someone beat us as the Foundation? REW, no. IMF, no. WC,
Definitely not
no.
Definitely not WC. Definitely not in WC.
No, we're the ones proving why we're the best tag team in all of wrestling, and we're also the ones with the XCW tag team titles. I think my dog's using it right now as a chewing toy.
Wow, I mean, and you've got the dogs even with you on that road trip. I mean, boy, I tell you what. I mean, listen, they definitely travel real quick when it comes to the Foundation. They travel everywhere, and they got first class traveling, and they finished that rest stop. They finished where they are on the road, and certainly even listen to females like that, because apparently my female friend, Mr. Omen Black, the lovely Zena, says that she finds you rather cute and attractive. Maybe that, being a Foundation, being a boss man, maybe people like bad guys. I don't know. I mean, apparently that seems to be the case, but I will certainly say, though, that obviously our ref, our actually ring announcer, Miss Trinity, wants to say, I witnessed the match. It was one of the most violent things I've seen at the St. Paul gym.
She was a lot taller in person. She looks a lot smaller on camera. She's a lot taller. I'll give her that.
I'm going to plead no comment on that because I'll probably have it back on Sportswire, and the last thing I want to do is, say anything that I may regret. But you can say that. It's your show, Omen.
Hey, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win.
Duly. And you guys certainly did win. You won a count-out victory. I mean, you certainly did win, and there's no question that you won.
I want to end this as a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
I hate being nice. This is why I'm best friends with CJ Black. I hate being nice.
Well, you guys are both good guys, though.
Hey, that's trademarked. You can't say that. But
well, that's why he's a world champion, and you're got those tag titles right now in possession.
That's right.
And we'll be the first ever IMF Hardcore champion this Saturday. That triple threat match with Matthew Forsaken and Mr. Damien Say, who Mr. Forsaken, by the way, was focused on hardcore. He'll have to be focused more on you coming up this Saturday, because we had Mr. Forsaken on the show Monday, and he was more about hardcore, but he's got to focus on you.
I'll be a gentleman for you, Justin. You seem like a very humbling guy. Before encounters happened, we found out who we're facing. We found, it's the real ones. And Soldier looked at me and said, who's the real ones? I had to explain to him that they're the tag team champions, the longest tag team champions, and these guys can actually do shit in the ring. Unfortunately, we didn't see that in encounters, but XCW has a whole log of what you guys can do. And I'd like to congratulate you being the XCW Tag Team Champions of the Year. Congratulate you on being on Sportswire Hall of Fame. Congratulate you, blah, 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 blah. And then congratulate you for being in the main event scene with the best wrestling team in all of wrestling. You're welcome. You earned it. You earned every bit of it. That's all I got to say.
Maybe I want to do it again sometime.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow Omen Black and the IMF on YouTube at IMF Wrestling 666, nearly 2,000 subscribers. Facebook, Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling. Also, Instagram, IMF_wrestling. And Saturday cannot come any sooner. Winter Clash. And we had the pleasure 2 weeks ago to promote the entire show and a slew of who's who of talent in the Midwest, and including Omen Black. He'll be squaring off to win that first ever IMF Hardcore Championship against Damian Saint and Matthew Forsaken. Soldier GP's in the main event defending the IMF World title against the C's. It is a who's who of wrestlers that are going to be on that show. You can go to the IMF page for more information. One more comment for you, Omen, before I let Justin finish the rest of the show. He says, from Rob Slater, Winter Clash this Saturday. The real ones come down to take back what's still rightfully ours, the tag titles. Shine them up real nice for us, boys. You're about to be put on a highlight reel.
You know what, Rob? Just send my regards to my biggest fan, JJ. You know what I mean.
Well, on that note, Omen, congratulations on that count-out victory. We'll certainly, I am sure, very well be talking a lot more after Winter Clash with you. It's your show after all, and I'm looking forward to more coverage very, very soon with you. And congratulations, and safe travels on that road, by the way. Certainly be safe out there on those roads. I know, obviously, you got to make sure you can get some extra gas, make sure the dog has some food and water in the truck, and definitely give my regards to Soldier and Dirty Donnie on the road.
Yeah, this is a really nice truck stop. You could tell by the garage door behind me.
There's a lot of garages on the road. But on that note, thank you very much. Omen Black here on the road. Safe travels, Omen, to Soldier, Dirty Donnie. And how you feeling for the rest of the show there, Justin Parsley? Obviously, all seriousness, we wish the guys a lot of safe travels out there on that road. I know Indiana and Iowa, it's a long commute. Certainly, it's out there at night and you can't see it. You got to make sure the dog is fed. And, those state troopers are crazy. But, after everything you saw, we found out now officially. But those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the real ones are going to be there with a front row seat at Winter Clash. I mean, how are you feeling right now as we get toward the end of the show here with you, sir? How are you feeling right now after what we just saw?
It's just been it's a nonstop roller coaster, Tom. I mean, we watched me do the VCAs. We watched me get annihilated at Encounters episode 1. I came on here, was honored to be a part of your Hall of Fame. Omen Black came on and tried to intimidate me and kind of did a little bit all over again. And it's just been an up and down roller coaster here, Tom. I don't know, an emotional roller coaster, right?
Emotional roller coaster. I mean, I guess it might be kind of, I guess what it would be like on a rest stop there for Omen, Soldier, and Dirty Donnie and the dog. I mean, that's got to be what it is here. But
I think I'd go to the next rest stop. I don't know. Once I pulled into that, I think
I guess, obviously, listen, we hope that they find a Wawa. Maybe they find a Cracker Barrel on the road. I mean, I don't necessarily know the exact travel time between Indiana and Iowa, but I just hope these guys get there because I want to see you out there. What a show it's going to be. Winter Clash, and certainly XCW is going to be there. And obviously, you're going to certainly be there with Rob Slater. We can't wait to see you and everything else. And I mean, sum up, though, any other words you might want to share to the foundation before Saturday night? It's your show. We're going to do the last few minutes with you. We'll do a couple more fun questions. Obviously, end on a lighter because we always want to end on a lighter note. But, what do you want to say and maybe final words to the foundation?
I guess I do want to say that it was an honor, right? Because they are one of the most popular, well-known tag teams, dominant tag teams on the whole circuit. So it's an honor that they would come into XCW and go against Rob Slater and I. Flip the script, it will be their honor, and it was their honor to gift us those front row seats. So it'll be another honor for them to have.
Very expensive front row seats, but I mean, those front row seats, from what I heard, they're going more than WrestleMania right now, coming up with Philadelphia Financial Field. So, I mean, there's no question. I mean, you got the hottest ticket literally, I would dare say, of the winter and certainly into 2024.
Makes you feel like a VIP for sure. So we're going to go there. We're going to enjoy the show, and we're going to get those tag team titles back. And that's all there is to it.
Oh, well, we'll certainly find out. And I want people to follow Justin Parsley on a number of different platforms here. You can do that very, very easily here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Parsley's. Also XCW. And I also want to remind people here, XCW coverage next Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Mr. Fletch is here himself. He's going to talk about this. He's going to talk about encounters. He's going to talk about viewer's choice. He's going to talk about New Year's Nemesis. He's going to talk about any single thing you want about XCW. Also, himself being inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Speaking of which, I want to ask you one quick question on XCW and Fletch and Venom. You obviously have quite a history with both. But what do you make of the situation? I have to ask you in XCW business about Venom being replaced by the board of directors as general manager. What is your thoughts on that?
It's sad to see Venom where he's at because he's a shell of the man he was whenever I came in, right? And that was having just lost his cousin. So all that fire, all that drive, being replaced with being stuck between stuck in doorways and stuff, like the absurdity of what he has gone through. He just didn't have his head on straight. I think Fletch made the right call. I think Fletch knows what he's doing. I think he's trying to get business back in order, get things swinging the right way. And I think maybe this is a step in that right direction. And
We'll certainly
nothing newest member of the foundation in that same breath.
we'll certainly find out. And I also want to say a couple more comments here. Real ones come to town to get their asses whipped again. Have to say, stay tuned for that.
Last time we didn't have to leave town to get our asses whipped. So just in the interest of fairness.
All right. And then also, I've got an announcement here in a second, but let me get to Rob and Trinity. One last thing before I have to head out. Congrats again, my brother. You deserve every bit of recognition for being inducted into the Sportswire Hall of Fame. Yours truly, thank you for everything. You're now a real one. Well, I hope I'm a real one. I don't know if my lovely lady friend would say that, but I hope for the listeners I'm a real one. Trinity also wants to say good luck to you and Rob Parsley. You'll need it. Put a bird on it. Boy, Trinity's always got something good to say. And by the way, Trinity, I got to get Trinity back on the show because we had Trinity on a few months ago, and I felt like it was like an incomplete interview. I feel like there's like more to scratch. When we did it, it was like not at the right time. I feel like we have to have that interview again. So maybe sometime next month. And speaking of the Sportswire Hall of Fame, so we've been talking a lot about the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, right, Justin Parsley? So January the 1st, Omen Black, Soldier GP. Apparently, from what I've heard, they've been voted in to the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame on January 1st. So, I mean, you have a thought on that? Do you want to congratulate them? Do you want to say anything in particular? Because they're going to get their moment on January 1st in being inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Well, they deserve it. Congratulations, and they deserve it and all that, blah. But I think I might have to make sure my schedule is clear to see if I can do the same thing that Omen just did to me tonight. Like,
well, I'm sure it's New Year's Day. Now, I'm sure we can certainly work a time and place and date that, maybe if you'd like to say hello, because again, maybe you want to have one, maybe from one Hall of Famer to another, or a two-time Hall of Famer to a one-time Hall of Famer. Is that something that you think maybe, you would like to kind of tell him on the process and tell him, what to expect, and, tell him just, make sure also not to be on a rest stop or on your road trip from Iowa to Indiana. Sorry, breaking the fourth wall on Sportswire there, but obviously, I'm sure you can give him some friendly advice and some pointers on that. Maybe.
Yeah, I would love to give him some insight and help him out along the way. Help him know what it feels like to become a Hall of Famer, because he has 0 to his name right now, right?
He's not a Hall of Famer, no, not at the moment.
Okay, yeah. So when he's playing catch up right now, and he's already ahead as far as the length of his career compared to mine. So we'll get there, Omen, and I'll help you along the way. Okay, buddy?
All right. Well, we'll certainly see. We want people to follow on all those platforms there. But a couple things here real quick before we get to closing thoughts. First, what are your goals for 2024?
Continue this tag team title run, right? All the way into 2025. Longest reigning XCW tag team champions ever. Keep this run for Benji. And, I mean, if we collect some singles gold along the way, I don't think that ever hurt anybody. So that XCW World Championship, I think that would look good across the other shoulder. But I'm also kind of biased. Like, I like me a lot. So
what do you want to say to everybody, whether it's the XCW Galaxy, whether it's the Sportswire fans, supporters of yours, anybody else on this journey that has led you to be part of Tag Team of the Year in XCW, XCW Hall of Fame, Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and we think, holding at least on paper, the XCW Tag Team Championships? What do you want to say to all those people out there?
So thank God, first of all glory goes to God.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
And my Savior, too, so Christ, absolutely. But then after that is definitely Benji. Like, thank you, Benji, for your friendship, right? Like,
Yep.
it led us here. And then thank you, Venom and Brogan and Void and anyone like DJ.
Shane Wolb, I was going to get to next. Yep.
Yeah, you, Fletch, like all of you guys, the fans that watch, the fans that tune into this, the fans that tune into XCW, the fans that share, like the stuff. Like, thank you. Keep coming back. Do it more. Keep hitting the share button, hit the like button. We definitely need that for the reach, but there's just so much talent here. I appreciate being acknowledged by these other talented people. So that is a gift in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, just thank you, because along the way I couldn't have done any of this without any of those other names, any of those other people. Like I could get in there and wrestle myself, but that's going to look a little ridiculous.
I guess, well, in baseball, they have a simulated baseball game where you're technically playing, but you're not playing, I guess. So theoretically, I guess you can do that in other sports, but in wrestling, yeah, I mean, I guess Vince McMahon, didn't he wrestle God on a pay-per-view one year? I mean, I guess theoretically, I mean, Eric Bischoff, quote unquote, wrestled Vince McMahon, although Vince McMahon never showed up on it. I think it was it Slamboree 98 or one of those odd WCW pay-per-views. So I guess theoretically, you could do that, but obviously it would be a lot better to wrestle somebody actually in the flesh and wound. And there's no question that you've done all those things. I've even received a word from my friend, Mr. Heshy Tischler, congratulating you on being on 2 Hall of Fame. So Mr. Tischler definitely says that. And I've also received a message from Omen Black that he is in the Taco Bell Hall of Fame. So apparently he says he's in 1 Hall of Fame. I'll check that out, but we'll certainly have more details on that when he gets inducted January the 1st on his show. One more question I have to ask you is a fun last question. So what is your holiday plans? Are you doing anything special for the holidays or what?
Yeah, so I'll have my kids half the time, and we'll do like some Christmas get-togethers, and I'll have them for New Year's Eve this year. So
Okay.
kind of hanging out with them, and I don't really do the bar scene or like the drinking, because I spend so much time there anyway.
I know you're at Kendall's Tavern. Yeah, I think that you'd be bored of it. Yeah.
From it. So yeah, all that family time, that's what means the most to me.
Well, for those that are Sportswire fans, I think between now and I think New Year's Day, I think I'm on almost every single day and in multiple spots. So I'm probably going to be on. Yeah, I'm on almost every day. I think literally there's just a whole list of spots, including XCW coverage. So yeah, we're on I think we have a couple of more XCW spots between now and the New Year. So I think at least 2 of them.
Holidays with, huh?
What? I'll be spending time with my microphone, basically. Because literally, I think every day between now and New Year's Day, people have asked me, "What's your holiday plans?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty much live on Sportswire Radio like every evening. Tomorrow, I have a holiday party actually with Heshy Saturday, but then I'm running back to Sportswire because I have this guy DVD from DBW. So I promise I do the interview. Then I'm Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, almost every day I'm on the radio. So that's my plan. So, well, if you're out there and you're bored, you're feeling lonely, you hang out here on Sportswire, I'll be here. Obviously, I could ask you so many different things, but obviously, I know I'm going to have you back in 2024 because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of XCW coverage ahead. We got this thing that we announced here that you're going to be at Winter Clash. You're going to have a front row seat to Omen Black and Soldier GP and the rest of that card, including Jackson Law, Jason Storm going to be there. I mean, a whole list of talent that's going to stay tuned for more of the WCE guys, Sean Dovey and Craven Rage, but I want to give you the floor now. And despite what happened with you and Omen Black, this rather historic Hall of Fame-like day for you and being in the XCW now in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fames, I turn it over to you, my friend. I give you the floor now. Any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? The floor is most certainly yours on this Hall of Fame-like day for you, the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley.
I am just so honored by all of the affection and attention and recognition. And, we say it as like a gimmick of me being the foundation of XCW, but I mean, Fletch saying things like XCW wouldn't exist without Justin Parsley. I mean, that's really cool, right? Like Fletch saying he was blessed. So I am so blessed to know Fletch. I'm so blessed that Fletch met Benji and that they got along so well and that they took care of each other all those years and built this company from the ground up to what it is now, the gold standard. I mean, the production, everything about
Oh my God, the production. I mean, we talked about it with Blackheart last week. Just the production here in this company. It's groundbreaking. I think it's better than pro wrestling companies. What we have here in this company.
Yeah, for sure. And just to know it all started with him. I mean, I'm so grateful to have known Benji, and I'm glad that he built these relationships that I could help carry on after he was gone, and that it all fit. It's just a family, just one big effing family. And,
all right, that's what I love about this company. I love this company, and I think it's great that we're seeing people recognize Julian Void Jacobs is going to be in the Sportswire Hall of Fame in 24. Blackheart we had on Trinity. I mean, we're getting the people that have really put their tails and just put their heads down in between themselves with their tails and just did everything they can to promote this company. This company is absolutely 1,000% the goal. And I will continue to say it till I cannot say it anymore. there would be no TBW, there would be no ROEW, there would be no CBW, there'd be no IMF, there'd be no WCE, there'd be no DBW, any other company out there you could think of, TF Crew, without XCW and Joshua Fletcher for having a vision to really being the gold standard of semi-pro, underground, backyard companies. And that's why this company, as I continue to say it till I can no longer say, until I'm long gone in that grave, whatever that might be, is that endorsements are certainly not given. They are earned. This is an endorsement that has long been earned, the support of XEW and Sportswire Radio, but most importantly, this endorsement of being the third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame has absolutely been earned to the first real wrestler himself, Mr. Parsley's Justin Parsley. Follow him on every single platform, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Parsley's, simple, straight to the point. Just follow this man, and congratulations to Rob Slater as well. We're going to also induct Rob at some point in 24 or later in January, so stay tuned for the right before Cold Day in Hell. And congratulations on this historic day for you. I know it didn't end quite the way you wanted Encounters, but we'll see at Winter Clash. I'm sure we'll talk with you right after that, but definitely it's been a real one as always, and we'll see what number 4 when it comes to appearances comes with you next time in 24. And obviously, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you Saturday. We'll talk a lot about it, I'm sure, and thank you for all you do, and congratulations on being inducted into 2 Hall of Fames.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, also the newest member of the XCW Hall of Fame, and voted as one half of the XCW Tag Team of the Year, Mr. First Real Wrestler himself, Justin Parsley. Justin Parsley is coming off the Viewers' Choice Awards, where he won 2 awards, and was also in the main event of XCW Encounters, where he lost his match against the Foundation, a battle of Foundation versus Foundation by countout. While they retain possession of the Tag Team Championship, they do not have them physically, as the Foundation's Omen Black and Soldier GP have those titles. But Rob Slater and Justin Parsley, our guests tonight, will be there this Saturday at Winter Clash itself to see what happens there. Go to the IMF's pages for more details. IMF Wrestling 666 on YouTube, IMF_Wrestling on Instagram, IMF Midwest Federation Wrestling on Facebook for more details on that. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of World Wrestling, the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. Also, stay tuned for more coverage tomorrow. Ace Reed Wired Up podcast at some point. I think it's 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Australian Time Saturday. I'll have DVG Saturday. Sunday, I will have Corey Graves and Blaze Ace Christian. And Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time next week in this chair to be inducted and to the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the 5th member. That'll be Mr. Fletch himself, an endorsement that is certainly very, very earned and some. Until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the #1 global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.